I'm your host, BrightLearn, and today we're diving into something that's as old as humanity itself, but feels more relevant now than ever. The healing power of gardens, herbs, and our deep, often forgotten connection to the earth. We're exploring The Healing Garden, Herbs for Health and Wellness, by Deb Soule, a book that's not just a guide. It's a love letter to the earth, a manual for the soul, and a call to action for anyone who's ever felt that tug to get their hands dirty and reconnect with the natural world. So let's dig in, literally and figuratively, and uncover why this book is a game changer for anyone interested in health, healing, and the quiet revolution happening right in our backyards. Soule's The Healing Garden isn't just another gardening book, it's a wake-up call. A gentle but urgent reminder that we've strayed too far from the natural world, and that reconnecting with it isn't just good for our bodies, but for our souls, our communities, and even the planet itself. This book doesn't just teach you how to grow herbs, it teaches you how to listen to them, how to honor them, and how to let them guide you back to a way of living that's more grounded, more intentional, and far more alive. At its heart, The Healing Garden is about relationship with the plants, with the land, with the seasons, and with ourselves. Soule doesn't just see plants as ingredients for medicine. She sees them as teachers, allies, and even friends. This might sound a little out there if you're used to the fast-paced, transactional way modern life often treats nature. Grab what you need, pay for it, move on. But Soule's approach is different. She invites us to slow down, to approach the earth with humility, and to recognize that healing isn't something we can force or buy. It's something we participate in, something we co-create with the natural world. She learned this from her grandmother, who taught her the principles of respect, reciprocity, gratitude, and love, not as abstract ideas, but as the very foundation of how to live. When Soule talks about asking a plant for permission before harvesting it, or leaving an offering like a song or a strand of hair as a thank you, she's not being sentimental. She's describing a practice of acknowledgement, a way of saying, I see you, I honor you, I won't take without giving back. What makes this book so special is how it bridges the ancient and the modern. Soule isn't rejecting science. She's weaving it together with wisdom that's been passed down for generations. Take her use of biodynamic gardening, for example. This isn't just about planting seeds and hoping for the best. It's about aligning your gardening with the rhythms of the cosmos. Planting roots when the moon is in an earth sign. Harvesting leaves when the moon is in a water sign. It sounds mystical, but it's also deeply practical. Soule has spent decades working the land at her farm, Avena Botanicals in Maine, and she's seen firsthand how these methods produce plants that are more vibrant, more potent, and more full of life. She's not asking us to take her word for it either. She encourages us to try it ourselves, to observe, to experiment, and to trust our own experiences. That's the thing about this book. It's not dogmatic. It's an invitation to explore, to learn, and to find what works for you. But The Healing Garden goes even deeper than gardening techniques. It's about healing as an act of resistance. Soule makes it clear that growing your own medicine isn't just a hobby. It's a way to push back against a system that profits from sickness, from disconnection, and from our dependence on synthetic drugs and industrialized food. She points out that for centuries people have known how to heal themselves with plants, but over time that knowledge has been erased, commodified, or outright stolen, especially from Indigenous communities who've been the stewards of this wisdom for generations. Soule doesn't shy away from this history. She acknowledges that she lives on Wabanaki land, territory that was never willingly given up, and she urges us to learn whose land we're on, to honor its original caretakers, and to garden in a way that heals rather than exploits. This isn't just about growing herbs, it's about growing a different kind of future, one where healing is accessible to everyone, where knowledge is shared freely, and where the earth is treated as a partner rather than a resource. One of the most beautiful things about this book is how it demystifies the process of making your own medicines. Soule doesn't assume you have a fancy setup or years of experience. She walks you through the basics: how to dry herbs, how to make tinctures, how to brew teas and decoctions, how to infuse oils for salves, with the kind of patience and warmth you'd expect from a wise friend or a beloved mentor. She even includes recipes, like her white pine and thyme cough syrup or her lavender lemonade, that are as nourishing for the spirit as they are for the body. But what really stands out is her emphasis on the why behind the how. For example, she explains that raw apple cider vinegar is her go-to for herbal vinegars because it's alive with enzymes and good bacteria. When you infuse it with mineral-rich herbs like nettle or dandelion, you're not just making a tonic, you're creating something that strengthens your bones, boosts your energy, and connects you to the earth's vitality. It's this kind of attention to detail, this reverence for the process that makes the book feel so alive. Soule also reminds us that healing isn't just physical. The plants she writes about, calendula for wounds and emotional trauma, holy basil for stress and heart opening, lemon balm for anxiety, aren't just treating symptoms, they're nourishing the whole person. And the act of gardening itself is medicine, whether you're weeding, which she calls a meditative practice, harvesting, a lesson in mindfulness, or just sitting among the plants, an act of devotion. You're engaging in something that quiets the mind, opens the heart, and reconnects you to the rhythms of life. In a world that's constantly demanding our attention, constantly pulling us away from ourselves, the garden becomes a sanctuary, a place where we can remember who we are and what really matters. Perhaps the most radical idea in the healing garden is that anyone can do this. You don't need a huge plot of land or a green thumb or a degree in botany. You can start with a single pot of basil on your windowsill or a cup of chamomile tea made with intention. What matters is the relationship you're building, not just with the plants, but with yourself and with the earth. Soule's book is a roadmap for that journey, but it's also a call to action. She's not just telling us to garden, she's asking us to reimagine what healing looks like. It's not something that happens in a doctor's office or a pharmacy. It happens in the soil, in the sunlight, in the quiet moments when we stop long enough to listen. So, where do we go from here? Soule would probably say, start small. Plant something, touch the earth. Breathe in the scent of a herb and really taste it when you make it into tea. Learn whose land you're on and how to honor it. Share what you grow. Teach someone else. Because healing isn't a solo endeavor. It's something we do together, with the plants, with each other, and with the earth itself. In a time when so much feels broken, the healing garden reminds us that the tools for repair are all around us. We just have to be willing to reach out, to listen, and to let the earth teach us how to heal.
This has been a BrightLearn video from brightlearn.ai on the book The Healing Garden, Herbs for Health and Wellness by Deb Soule. Visit brightlearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.